Mr. Councilman Thornton, would you please bless the meeting?
Yes. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this beautiful day. Thank you for letting us sit here and represent our people, the Cherokee Nation. And thank the also for our administration that's here today and to help us in any way we can be helped. And we appreciate very much the veterans that have come forward and fought for us and kept this nation free. We also want you to bless the armed forces that are in harm's way today, and appreciate them very much. In Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Roll call.
Joe Bird.
Honey.
John Garvin. Bill England.
Here.
Jack Baker.
Here.
Julia Coates. Here. Jody Fishinghop. Here. Mary Fraley. Janelle Fulbright. Here. Frankie Hargis.
Present.
Chuck Hoskins Jr. Tyler Boyd Jordan.
Present.
Lee Keener. Dick Lay.
Here.
Curtis Snell. David Thornton.
Come on, Nick.
David Walkerston.
Honey.
Karen Callan Watson.
You have the approval of minutes before you. This time I'd entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Motion. Second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Reports. Ms. Diane Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I just want to say that our specialized training for the construction trades started today. Last week, well, officially it started last week. They started the life skills classes with the people that were going into the classes. We added another life skills teacher to help with getting this off the ground, and they're going through all these classes. They're developing their resumes so that the job developers can start actually marketing them, so that by the time they finish the training, we can actually have them in the pipeline for some potential jobs that are out there. Shane Kirby and Andy Dreadfulwater have been working with all the counselors in this endeavor and have done a really outstanding job. Shane is the person who actually took the bull by the horns and got everything lined up with the VOTEC schools, and all the classes are full. In fact, they were full within 2 days. And our business technology teacher, Laura Jones, has 2 classes going on Tuesday and Thursday nights, and those classes are filled up, and she's in her 3rd week. And we've got a waiting list right now of others that are wanting in those classes. So it's a good possibility that we'll start some more training later on in October. After December. Tarot training, John Overacker and his staff have been busy going over the new tarot training for all of the businesses. They'll start training for all of the tarot certified businesses. They're going to have, I believe it's Wednesday, Connie and all of her managerial staff from the hospital and the clinics have a monthly meeting, and they're scheduled to take up that whole 2-hour session to go over the tarot training with her staff. On-the-job training, well, the ARA program will come to closure, we think, September 30th. We're really anticipating that they may let us carry it over because we still have a little bit of money there, and if that happens, it could get continued. They didn't say that it wouldn't, and they didn't say that it would. We have conference calls every week, and Brenda Fitzgerald and Daryl Legg, Michelle Philpott, Nathan Etheridge, Andy, Shane, Dennis Carter, they've all done an outstanding job of trying to get all of that spent before the end of the fiscal year, and they're all to be commended. We're working very closely with 2 programs to develop training. One is for welders on T150 welding, which is computerized certified welding. It's a business that is actually going to implement training, and then they would actually hire those people after they do the training. And we've been meeting with them last week and today. And Jay Calhoun, Phil Reedy has been working with us. Also been working very closely with Chris Moody at CNI. We also have another business that we've been working with in Claremore. That's the new business that's coming in there. Bob Schooley and Shane, and then met last week with the VOTEC on that for some jobs. There's about 60 jobs that will come into play up there. 20 of them in marketing, 20 of them out on the line, and 20 of them in sales. which is on wind turbines. And Brenda will be piloting the Ticket to Work program through the Road Rehab program. And that's pretty much it. You've got my report. Are there any questions?
Frankie?
First of all, I wanted to ask, I know Shane moved over to Taro. Have you, or do you plan to hire a teacher, or are the GED classes in J being covered? I've had a couple calls about.
They're being covered.
Are you sure?
Yeah. They've got more numbers in Claiborne at the site up there, and the teacher is going to shift up there, and they're going to offer the classes. Annie Christie, who does the teaching at Pryor, is going to be the teacher assigned to J. And they do have a aide who's been working with Shane, and she'll continue to work with Annie up there at J. But the numbers there are a lot lower than they are at Claremore.
But they will have a class available there. Okay. And another thing I wanted to ask is, can we, in your report, I haven't seen it, but I haven't seen this information in there, but can we get a breakdown of the traffic by each sub-office?
You sure can. In fact, we'll be giving you a report next month because at the end of the fiscal year, we'll be giving you an overall report of the traffic for the whole year, and then we'll have it broken down by areas. We have to go in there and look at those offices where there's tag offices and where there's workforce, because sometimes those numbers are a little
inflated.
misleading. Yeah. But yeah, we'll do that next month.
All right, thank you.
Councilor Watts?
Thank you. Could you give us a breakdown report on how, especially since we're coming into a new fiscal year, how this past year our Taro monies, the fees we've generated and stuff to the jobs are being spent in your department, and how many people we've been able to train?
Okay. Can you say, I'm writing this past year, you want to know about the fees that were generated
And where we've spent it and how it's been spent and how many people we've trained and their careers and such.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions?
Councilor Watts?
Just want to say thank you for providing jobs for Cherokees. You guys do great work.
Thank you. And I just want to say that we appreciate council members asking us to go outside the box to assist with jobs that you all know that are out there. If you hear of anything and you think that we can be of any kind of service and making referrals, we appreciate you contacting us and doing so. It helps us to offer other things outside of Cherokee Nation for our clients.
Diane, in previous meetings at C&B, they talked about sometimes not having qualified Cherokee people to fill those positions.
Yes.
And we let them know that you were working on some training and coordinating with them. Is that taking place?
Oh, yeah. We have meetings very regularly with Sean, his staff. Chris Moody, we meet with Chris a lot, and then also Stephen Bilby. In fact, Phil Reedy has been in several meetings with us on some of these businesses. In fact, Jay Calhoun was down today, and one of the things that we're doing is we're actually doing point contact with all the different resources that are out there from the state on any kind of tax incentives to job creation, or if there's training dollars out there, then we're networking with them to bring them to the table. And with Jay and Phil Reedy, they're doing basically the due diligence to determine whether or not these businesses have the capital, if they've got the marketing in place, if they have contracts out there, if they have federal contracts. There's a lot of things that they're doing on their side of the fence that we're doing, and we're partnering together to go after these businesses to try to get more jobs. We're not necessarily out there trying to get a business, but we're trying to partner with them and offer various types of services. An example might be that here's a business that needs packaging for their business. They've got contracts out there, but they don't have the manpower to do the packaging to get the product out. We actually could come in and actually do the packaging for them. So that's the type of businesses that we're looking at.
All right. Thank you, Diane. Good report.
Thank you.
Next, Executive Director Report, Dr. Neil Morton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, council members. Good afternoon. My report. Be happy to answer questions if I can.
Councilor Watts.
Thank you, Chairman. Should we expect any more employment changes or layoffs of personnel through the education budget?
No, not that I know of.
Okay, and so on, never mind, I'll wait for some more. Thank you, Dr. Morton. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Any further questions? Thank you, Dr. Morton.
Thank you.
I do not see our Head Start Director.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to mention that Verna had a problem in scheduling. She had a conference scheduled that she had to attend, and she did ask Chad Cochran to come today to report or answer questions. So, Chad.
I believe you have the Head Start report in your packet, so if you have any questions on that.
Okay. Thank you, Chad. Any questions? Okay, you got off pretty good this time. Yeah. Thank you. Culture and Tourism, Molly Jarvis.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Let's go. We have our quarterly report here for the council, and I did want to introduce a person who's with me today. We have Travis Owens, who usually comes with me, but also Cheryl Trask is here with me, and Cheryl manages all of our cultural tourism retail sites. A couple of highlights from our report that I wanted to mention. We are currently working on getting some bids for work at the Cherokee National Capitol building downtown. The work that will be done right now will address primarily exterior renovations that needed immediate attention. And those include the roof, some work to rebuild a cupola, although it won't be functional, it'll just be decorative at this point. Redoing windows, wood soffits, drainage and downspouts, and some issues that affect life safety, just to make things a little safer in the building where electrical is concerned, or any hazards of tripping and falling. And then we are also under work doing some bidding for the Saline Courthouse restoration that we're working on there. I did want to bring to your attention, right now we have discussed the Beck Mill and Talentiski projects, both with the CMB Board of Directors, and right now they have asked us to put those two projects on hold. We are looking at two contribution requests right now that are also before the CMB Board of Directors, and those include a contribution to Cabin Creek Battlefield site for the Civil War Trust. There's a partnership between the Civil War Trust and Oklahoma Historical Society, and then also a possibility for our contribution to assist with some renovations to parking at Sequoia's Cabin. And again, those things are going through the process with the CMB Board of Directors. We are preparing for our 7th annual Cherokee Art Market that will be held at Hard Rock Hotel and Casino October 12th, 13th, and 14th. So we hope to see you all there. And just wanted to report, during the holiday, we did have a very successful weekend and saw more than 3,000 visitors through the museums and retail sites, and had about $50,000 in sales at the retail locations. So I feel like that was a very successful holiday weekend for us. Are there any questions?
Any questions? Councilor Watts?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thanks, Molly, and your team of folks, because I know you're small but mighty.
We are.
So maybe at a future meeting pretty soon, I know the Saline Courthouse is on a lot of my constituents' minds and other folks, if we could present those plans, even if it's just in writing beforehand or by email outside the meeting, and then if we have any questions at your next report, we could ask.
Absolutely, and we kind of have a phased approach, so we can kind of let you know what's approved right now and then what's planned for the future.
That would be outstanding.
Okay.
Are you still working with the Saline Preservation Association?
Yes.
Okay. And then are Talentiski and the Beck Mill developments things that we have as we own those properties?
Cherokee Nation owns both of those properties, that's correct.
Okay, but Sequoia's Cabin and the Civil War Trust from the Cabin Creek Battlefield, we do not own.
That's
Is that correct?
That's correct. The Sequoia's Cabin is owned by the Oklahoma Historical Society, and the Cabin Creek Battlefield is kind of a new development where the Civil War Trust is a nonprofit organization that assists all over the country in renovating and restoring Civil War sites. And they have made a land purchase and are working with the Oklahoma Historical Society, who will actually operate any reenactments or interpretation that would go on at that
And
site.
when those, if funding's approved, would you bring that amount back?
Sure.
Some idea of more detail about that? And then,
And just to give you kind of an idea of what that is, it's anywhere from between about $25,000 to $100,000 between those sites, what the board is considering
so at per site or,
per site.
okay, and then on the gift shop revenue, is that typical or is that an increase for 50,000?
To what it was last year, it was $37.
But I thought that the numbers were down overall for the holidays, so I'm really glad it sounds like you were more successful overall because you got people to spend more that did show up, so thank you. And then on, over the weekend, we were in Texas for at-large meetings, and Chief Baker made a point to say that the John Ross Museum only had like one visitor a week or something.
I will say that on a regular basis, it is very light in
Sporadic,
terms of,
okay.
and we know where it is located in a very rural. You've got to drive past the Heritage Center, past the Merle Home, and then get to the John Ross Museum. So traffic is very light, but we do try to staff accordingly, very limited hours, and we know when our tours are going there. But yes, I will say that traffic is very light.
So is there, I think that Councilwoman Coates had an excellent idea about, would you say the triangle? May I defer to Dr. Coates?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, it just, I know that we don't, manage either the cultural tourism doesn't manage either the Heritage Center or the Morrell Home, but it seems to me that that cultural tourism, in order to get more traffic into the Ross Museum, might, treat all of those properties as a triangle in the marketing of the Ross Museum, that it's only this far away from the Morrell Home, it's only this far
Right.
away from the Heritage Center, make it a day and
I do
take
like
in
that.
all three.
And one thing that we're doing, since we own the property there at the Y, the 62 and 82, there's currently a sign on that property, and we're redoing that to be a large arrow and a large sign directing people toward the Heritage Center and John Ross Museum. So that'll give it at least some highway coverage there to direct people that way. But I do like that idea.
Okay, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I know that you guys are getting out because people know who you guys are and thus who the Cherokee Nation is. So thank you. Thank
Counselor-
you, Mr. Chairman.
Councilor Taylor?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, you are doing a good job, all you do in your group, and I tried to hit everything that you'd worked on during the holiday. And spent about an hour at the John Ross Museum. It didn't take that long to see it. But I just want to get an update from you. We good on the working with Chickasaw Nation.
Yes, that's something we've worked on for a while. We've done a photo shoot with Chickasaw Nation, so we have some materials that can be co-branded. And the idea or the concept there is to bring tourism that's good for the whole state. And so some upcoming things that we have looking at that partnership is going to the IENTA conference, the American Indian Alaska Native Tourism Association conference. That takes place in November, and we have some joint meetings planned with members from tourism from the Chickasaw Nation and also the Creek Nation. So working with tribes throughout our state to bring in tourism throughout the whole state that's good for all of us. So that's kind of the concept behind that.
That would involve TV?
We don't really have a plan for that. Again, our budget is pretty small, but we know that when we do have any TV ads that run, there's a big impact on that. So I will certainly bring those plans up that develop back to this group to report.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Councilor Thornton?
Yes. Have you received the preliminary drawings and data on Sequoia's home?
I have, yes, and I've had our construction director Kevin Ogle has done an assessment, and also he's talked with Michael Lynn here at the Cherokee Nation about it. And I spoke with Councilor Fulbright during one of the breaks and said that kind of where I am with that is I'll take the information from the engineer that did the report in 2007 and from Kevin Ogle and from Michael Lynn and send all of that to Chairman Hart for the CNB board and just proceed with it that way.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Is that good? Molly, just want to thank you for the input and all the help during the holidays. State Nation, really appreciate all your work. And would you send this message back to the administration? During the State of the Nation, it got real lengthy. We had an enormous amount of awards here, which is really good. But maybe we can separate those and have like an evening of a banquet of awards for that, then keep the State of the Nation and that focus there. That's just a recommendation from me. Also, we had record-breaking numbers there. I helped a little bit with the powwow and tried to help with the parking. There was all kinds of records broken as far as attendance there. Would you pass the word along that when we have that many participants, somehow they need to be acknowledged in the paper, Cherokee Phoenix, different categories throughout, from cornstalk shoot to all of that. I'd like to see that somehow publicized in the next issue.
Okay.
And recommend that to the administration, if you would, please.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you all.
Old business, none. New business, none pending. Announcements. Need a motion?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Motion. Second. Adjourn. I'll make a motion.